Good morning, everybody. Subby down here at Baumgart's Weather Center. I'm hoping everybody is staying cool with these very oppressive temperatures that we have had here over the last week. It's not getting any better anytime soon until we get to the end of the month into the first part of August. So, what I thought I would do today is just take a little extended time and give you guys kind of a walkthrough of what we can expect outside of these high temperatures. See if there's any rain in the forecast. And of course, I've been hit with the same question from a lot of farmers here over the last couple of days. They got to get hay cut. When is going to be a good time to cut? When's going to be a good time to bale? Typically, you got to have 3, 4 dry days, and I posted this in the Subbies Ag and Weather Report on Monday. I do that every Monday. You can catch that on my weather blog by going to mykdkd.com. And under the weather tab, you go to Subby's Weather Blog. I try to post most of them on social media as well, but every Monday I have an ag and weather report that has it also has a look at our exclusive in house model Mediagram, which is kind of a cool thing, kind of set up for the ag industry, where you can see trans evaporation rates, you can see wind speeds in case you're spraying, chances of rain, the percentage of cloud cover, the whole 9 yards. So I encourage you to check that out. But let's take a look at our rain chances, and then we'll talk a little bit about that ridge of high pressure that's going to be moving directly overhead again as we go into the weekend. So we're going to take a look at the short-term model right now. Today we are going to remain dry. And then we're going to have a little bit of a transition as this ridge of high pressure starts to work its way back west. Yeah, kind of opposite of what we normally see. This high pressure system is going to move to the west and over west central Missouri. And as it begins to move, we will see a chance for some thunderstorms here over the next 48 hours. So, but today is going to be dry. And then what I'm going to be watching is going to be overnight tonight. And there's going to be a complex of storms. Some of them could be pretty strong up here in Nebraska, into parts of Iowa, Kansas, and then eventually into west central Missouri as we go into the overnight hours. Now, this was midnight tonight. And notice the leading edge of that line is up here in northwest Missouri around St. Joe, Maryville. And then as it begins its slow descent to the south, it looks like it is going to dissipate before it gets into west central Missouri. But I'm going to be watching this very closely, make sure that we don't get a few of these storms stay just strong enough and make it down into maybe even the northern sections of west central Missouri, such as Cass, Johnson, maybe northern Pettis County. Any of these thunderstorms that do happen to make it down our way do have that potential for a strong wind gust. Any thunderstorm that we get this time of year with the heat and the humidity buildup, we're going to have that chance for a strong wind gust with any of these thunderstorms that we get here in west central Missouri here over the next few weeks. So definitely keep that in the back of your mind. Any thunderstorm that pops up, we could get a strong wind gust, possibly even up to 60 miles per hour. But again, I am expecting most of these to dissipate, remain dry tomorrow morning as that line just pretty much disintegrates in northwest Missouri, and then we'll be back into the dry conditions. It's going to heat up tomorrow. It's going to be very warm in the mid upper 90s again, and then tomorrow night we will see right tomorrow evening, probably between say the 4-8 p.m. time frame. This is 6 o'clock, and notice of there are a couple little thunderstorms that fire up over west central Missouri. You see these little red dots; those are all little isolated thunderstorms. And again, that's right around 6, 7 o'clock. And so we do have that potential. I'll be watching very closely. Again, any of these thunderstorms develop do have that potential for torrential rainfall, a lot of lightning, and the potential to see a higher wind gust with any of these thunderstorms. And then the focus of the attention is going to be down in Oklahoma, central Kansas, where there's going to be a complex of storms that will continue to move into west central Missouri. This is going to be 4 a.m. Friday morning. And notice that this will actually start to affect west central Missouri with some scattered showers and thunderstorms. This is 7 a.m. Friday morning. So, really, our concern is going to be, of course, tomorrow afternoon into the early evening, late Thursday night, actually into Friday morning, 3, 4 a.m., all the way up until the right around the 10 a.m. to noon on Friday. And then most of the rain and thunderstorms will be moved out of our area. And as that ridge of high pressure continues to work its way to the west. So let's take a look at that ridge of high pressure. So we're going to take a look at the 500 millibar chart, 18,000 feet above our heads, and we are going to be tracking the jet stream, the river of air, and the winds up above us. That's how these storm systems are going to be following. We'll know exactly where these ridges and the troughs set up using the 500 millibar level. So we'll take a look here at, turn on my handy dandy pen right here is the high pressure system, and you can see it right here. That is going to be the high pressure system. Okay, now kind of keep a close eye on that as we put this into motion, and you will see that circle of pressure move to right on top of Missouri as we go into the weekend. So as you see it down in the southeast right now, we are getting some of those showers and thunderstorms on the outside. They call that the ring of fire. If you hear that, or any meteorologist begin to talk about that here over the next 24 hours, those around that ridge of high pressure, we got showers and thunderstorms. That's the ring of fire. And then as we go into the weekend, watch that circle, and you will see it begin to move back to the west as we go into the weekend. And now, if you take a look at it, it is right on top of Missouri. And so that's whenever you get that ridge of high pressure, you get sinking air, and that compresses the air, and it warms up the temperatures, and it really serves as a block for any kind of rain or thunderstorm to be able to develop. So that is what's going to be taking place Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, possibly into Wednesday. High temperatures, dry conditions. So for to kind of answer all those questions that from the area farmers, as far as when's a good time to be laying down hay, working the hay fields, it's going to start this weekend into the early part of next week. I think that's going to be our best chance to remain dry over any length of time. So now that's not saying that we couldn't, possibly get an afternoon shower. When we have temperatures in the upper 90s with dew points, almost like the equator, right around 74 to 78 degrees. You can't ever 100% rule that out, but this is going to be our best period of time that we're going to stay consistently dry starting this weekend all the way into the middle part of next week. And that is when this ridge of high pressure, this dome, and when they talk about a heat dome, that's the heat dome. That's the overall ridge, kind of like an upside down W, upside down U shape with that high pressure in the middle. That's a dome of sinking air, and of course a dome of very hot weather that we are going to be underneath at least for the next 5 to 7 days. I've had a couple people reach out, want to know when we're going to start to get this cool down. So I really believe that our cool down is really going to start to affect us once we get into that 1st of August. the first 2 weeks of August. We overall dry period. There are going to be a couple little cold fronts that will move through the first 2 weeks of August, but all in all, a relatively dry stretch, cooler temperatures, and then about the middle of the month of August, we start to get into that more active phase where we start to see more storm systems moving in, and the second half of August is looking relatively wet, which is great news for the farmers. We just need to dry it out as we head into September for the harvest. So let's take a look at one thing I want to show you guys, and again, here is the forecast that we have going on right now. So remember, you can find this updated every morning around 5:30 a.m. or so on our Facebook pages. It's updated every day. Notice I kind of shade out the days that is already past us. I would update the forecast as well based on our in-house model. So definitely be looking at that. And of course, today being Wednesday, high today 96, no rain chances. We go to Thursday, and again, we're going to be watching first thing tomorrow morning, and we're going to be watching tomorrow afternoon into evening, into late Thursday night, into Friday morning for the potential of seeing some thunderstorms. And of course, I'll be watching, the intensity level of these thunderstorms. I will be going live if it needs to be, but our biggest threat is going to be strong straight line winds. So that is definitely something going to be watching very, very closely as we go into Thursday and into Friday. And again, guys, with this heat advisory that is currently ongoing and likely will roll right into next week, we want to make sure we protect ourselves from the heat and the sun. Drink plenty of water, avoid alcohol. Drink plenty of water. Electrolytes like Gatorade can also help protect against heat stress. Apply your sunscreen. Wear really light colored clothing like t-shirts. Help out tremendously. And of course, take regular breaks in the shade. That's going to be very, very important as we go into this weekend and into next week. So let's take a look at the global predictor here real quick. The global predictor, and again, this is an opportunity. You guys can get it for under $5 a month. You pay for it by the year. You can save some money. It's like $49 a year, and you can save even more money. I do have codes to save you money on the global predictor. It's all capital letters, Subby, SUBBY 10. That's 10. So Subby 10, and that will save you even more money if you purchase this for the year, $49. And of course, as you can see here, this is for Clinton, Missouri. Very hot temperatures, above average temperatures all the way into the end of the month, actually showing some 97, 99. The LRC Weather 2020 is not forecasting any 100-degree temperatures for our area this year. It's going to get awfully close to that 100-degree mark as we go into next week. But notice that right at the end of the month, 84. Now, when you're using a global predictor, the actual temperatures, we're talking over a given area. Now, they're going to fluctuate just a little bit. What's more important to look at are the colors. Now, the oranges and the reds, that's going to tell you that it's going to be above average in temperatures. Okay, so average high this time of year is about 90, 91 degrees here in west central Missouri. So notice that, like on the 23rd, 24th, we're going to be above average temperatures. As we go into next week, notice how it gets really red. It's going to be well above average temperature-wise. And then on the 31st of July, 84 degrees. That's a lot less than average temperatures. And then once we get into August, you notice we have this cool down as we go into at least around the first 8-9 days of August, well below average temperatures. And when we take a look at the precipitation, we stay relatively dry for around the first 13 days of August. Now, this is for bigger storm systems. Okay, that's not saying that we couldn't get, a couple of stray isolated thunderstorms here and there. But for the most part, the first 2 weeks of August look relatively dry and cooler weather. So that gives us something to look forward to here in West Central Missouri. And man, take a look at that second half of the month from the 14th through 22nd. Rain chances nearly every day. That's kind of hinting to me that we could be maybe be talking about a tropical system. Whenever you see multiple days like that on the global predictor that has rainfall, a major systems over that many days, there's typically a reason there. And I have a feeling that we could be seeing a tropical storm coming probably up through the Gulf of America into the central part of the United States and could be affecting us, our weather here in West Central Missouri because of that, maybe putting us in a more favorable position to get some rainfall. So I'll be watching that very closely too as we get into the middle part of August. So, but man, I tell you what, it's I'm ready for that cool down. I hope you guys are ready for that cool down as well. Of course, this is the global predictor. You can go to weather2020.com and you can download the global predictor. You can also go to your Apple or Android phone, search your Google Play or iTunes store and search global predictor. And again, you can get it for the year for $49 a month, and you can save even more money from that by adding my coupon of subby, all capitalized, 10 subby 10 to save you even more money. So that's it for today, guys. Just a little bit of an extended look of what we have going on here over the next few days. I hope you found this beneficial. And of course, I will be updating on all of our social media platforms as we go through the rest of the week and to the weekend. So everybody take care, stay weather aware, and we'll be talking to you soon.